Imagine walking into a store with no money, no card, no coins, and no bank account. No prices on anything either. You just want food. The other guy wants something from you. But what if he doesn't want what you have? Now picture that exact problem 40,000 years ago. No coins, no cards, no bank anywhere on Earth. You're hungry. The person next to you has food. You have a fish, some berries, and a weird shiny rock. He doesn't want any of it. So how did anyone actually buy anything at all? Here's the story almost everyone learns in school. Two cavemen meet. One has fish, one has an axe. They swap. Boom, barter economy. It's a clean story, tidy, easy to draw on a whiteboard. And an anthropologist who actually went looking for that economy mostly couldn't find it. So what actually happened instead? It's stranger than barter, and it explains everything that came after. Picture the barter economy for real. You have fish. You need an axe. But the guy with the axe doesn't want fish today. He wants shoes. So now you need someone with shoes who wants fish, who knows someone with an axe who wants... Economists call this the double coincidence of wants. In plain language, it almost never lines up. An anthropologist named Caroline Humphrey spent years studying real small-scale societies, looking for a pure barter economy. Strangers trading goods on the spot, no money, no debt, no memory between them. Her conclusion? No society has ever been clearly documented running on barter alone as its main system. So if it wasn't barter, what was it? It was debt. Just debt between people who actually knew each other. You give me food today, I don't pay you back today, I just owe you. No coins changed hands, no receipt, just a memory held by both of you. Next winter, when you're starving and I have meat, you don't even have to ask. The whole camp ran on this. A web of who owes who, tracked entirely by memory. Not charity, not barter either. A running tally that nobody ever wrote down. And debt wasn't even the only system running. There were also straight-up gifts. Not gifts like birthdays, gifts with weight, the kind that built your reputation. The more generous you were, the more status and goodwill you built in the group. A stingy hoarder wasn't admired. He was a risk, someone who might not help you later. So generosity itself became a kind of currency. The most trusted person was often the most giving one. And for a small group, this worked beautifully. Because everyone could remember everyone. Who helped, who didn't, who still owed what. There's a rough limit to how many people one brain can track this way, something like 150. Inside that number, your word and your memory were the only currency you needed. But what happens when you meet someone outside that number, a total stranger? You don't know them. You'll probably never see them again. Your memory means nothing to them. Debt only works between people who expect to meet again. Strangers don't have that luxury. So if memory can't be the currency anymore, something else has to do the job. That something needed a few very specific qualities. It had to be easy to carry, hard to fake, durable enough to last, and small enough to divide into useful amounts. Across the ancient world, totally different cultures landed on eerily similar answers. In Africa, Asia, and across the Pacific, one answer kept showing up. Small spiral shells called cowries. Light, identical, nearly impossible to counterfeit, and the ocean made plenty of them. People strung them, counted them, and paid with them for thousands of years. In cattle herding regions, the answer was much bigger. Livestock. Cattle were wealth you could see from a mile away, and wealth that multiplied on its own. The word pecuniary, meaning related to money, comes from the Latin word for cattle. That's how deep this goes. In early farming societies, grain did the same job, measured out in standard amounts, and used to settle debts. In China, some of the earliest metal money wasn't round at all. It was shaped like tiny bronze tools. Spade money, knife money, cast in the shape of tools people already valued and used. In parts of North America, strings of polished shell beads called wampum carried real social and economic weight. They recorded agreements and sealed alliances, and later, traders pulled them into exchange with European colonists too. You've probably also heard Roman soldiers were paid in salt, supposedly where salary comes from. That one's mostly a myth. Historians think the word came from a salt-related allowance, not literal bags of salt. Still, salt was valuable enough in some regions to get traded almost like money in its own right. Shells, cattle, bronze tools, wampum, salt, all useful. None of them were quite enough on their own. And here's something that genuinely surprises people. Actual coins stamped metal, backed by a government, showed up surprisingly late. Humans had been alive for hundreds of thousands of years before the first coin ever existed. Most historians point to around 600 BCE in a kingdom called Lydia. Lydia sat on busy trade routes, crossed constantly by merchants who were total strangers to each other. A stamped coin solved the stranger problem instantly. You didn't need to know the person. You just had to trust the stamp. Coinage didn't replace barter. There was no barter economy to replace. Coinage replaced something much older, the limits of memory and trust. So here's the myth worth killing, completely. Money wasn't invented to fix some broken caveman trading system. It was invented to do something memory and trust could never do alone: work between total strangers, at scale. Money is trust, turned into an object you can carry. Now, let's be honest about what we actually know here. Different regions invented their own proto-money completely independently at wildly different times. There's no single moment, no single inventor, no clean global timeline. A lot of the evidence is scattered shells and old coins, and historians genuinely debate the details. We're not going to pretend this is a tidier story than it actually is, but one pattern holds up almost everywhere we look. And here's the part that genuinely breaks people's brains. On a tiny Pacific island called Yap, people used giant stone discs as money. Some were taller than a person, carved from rock that doesn't even exist on Yap. Moving one took a dangerous sea voyage and a serious group effort, so most of the time, nobody moved them at all. A stone could change owners and just stay exactly where it was, sitting in the open for everyone to see. There's a famous case where a huge stone was lost overboard on the way back to the island and sank. Nobody could see it, nobody could touch it. It was sitting on the ocean floor, and the island kept counting it as real, valuable money, because everyone agreed on the story of how it got there. The stone was never really the money. The shared memory of who owned it, that was the money. So, did ancient humans have money? In the way we picture it, coins in a pocket, for most of human history? No. But in the way that actually matters? Constantly. Every system, debt, shells, cattle, stamped coins, a stone nobody ever moves, was solving the exact same problem. How do you trust someone enough to trade with them? Money has never really been about the object, not the metal, the shell, or the stone. It's about a shared belief, multiplied past the limit of what any one memory could hold. And that instinct is still running right now, every time you tap your phone. You're not really trusting plastic or a chip or a number on a screen. You're trusting an agreement you can't see, held up by millions of strangers, exactly like a stone that never moves. It's the oldest trick humans ever pulled with the idea of trust, and we never stopped using it.
Please like and subscribe for more content like this. We really appreciate your support.